goes on a bus, or you have to drive?
He goes on a bus.
Yeah, thank goodness. Does he like it?
He does. He's having a great summer. I mean, he had friends who wanted to go there. So, I mean, some of his friends from school are going there. So he went. So
That's good. It's like big boy camp, huh?
It is. It's like a sleepaway camp, sort of, but it's not a sleepaway camp.
Right.
So it has.
But he comes back and forth every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the camp, I don't know if you've ever been there. It's a nice. It's sort of an impressive campground.
Yeah.
So it kind of looks like a real camp. You know?
We sent our kids to Camp Vermont up in the Berkshires. They've never been the same since, and never.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I understand. I also had a not great experience at camp, which
I guess it's not for everyone.
it's definitely not. I think it's definitely not. I think a lot of it has to do. I was saying, Dan, for me, the problem was basically that the kids were really mean. Like I didn't
Yeah,
make
my kids said they
friends,
were
and
mean
I
too.
wasn't. You know, I wasn't like a weird kid. I was a normal kid. It wasn't. It was like, you know.
Hi. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
How are you?
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi. Good. How are you? What a surprise to see you. I know. What a surprise to see me.
Yes, if I really got some,
Danny's father.
Okay.
Yeah. Is Darren back? No? Oh, really? What's the deal? What is it? Oh, sorry.
No. I was just
Oh, I
saying.
thought we had to
Darren
wait
wasn't-
for more people.
No. We can start, but Darren's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, we got a good cardiology report, but then they took him off some of his meds, which was a great thing, but then he started to feel sick, so they can't figure out, they don't think it's his, what he had, but they think maybe it's GI. We don't really know, so he went to urgent care today, his blood pressure's good, everything else is good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's had a few things.
Yeah.
He has, it gets hard not to get like super, anxious.
It happens when you become head of house.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's.
This-
Danny went into kidney failure.
It happens when you
And
have
that
had
was
a house.
head of house on the board.
That could be it. That job should be eliminated.
All right, we'll begin on page 13. Page 14 or 46. Yedid nefesh avarachaman mishoch avdach heritzonach yarutz avdach imoya ishtachave el mul hadarach yerav lo yedidutach min ofetzuf vechol taham Adonai oziv haolam nafshi chol adabatach Ana el narefanala beharola noham zivach azir chazek v'did rabeh v'hayetala shiv gadolam v'tigeh v'tiferet ozach anaheli machmad libi hayai v'chushana ve'aldit ala migalena hayai uvras chaviv alai hetzu kadosh elomach tahir herez mikevodach nagila v'nizmechamach maherahu kivamohed v'choneini gimei olam yadad hay 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 yadad hay 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 Lechu niranena ladonai naria lezo yishenu nekadem afana vetoda bizmiro narialo. Page 15 or 48. Arba'im shana hakud bedor v'homar amdoye levavel v'hem lo yadu derachai Hashem nishbati be'abi Him yavon el menuchati hayo shiru ladonai shir chadash shiru ladonai kol haaretz shiru ladonai baruch shemo basru miyom leyom yeshuato sabru bagoyim kevodo v'chol Ha'amim nivleotav ki gadol Adonai humul al meor norahu hal kol Elohim ay kol Elohim hamim elilim b'Adonai shamayim asa Hod v'hadar lefanav ozetim feret v'migdasho havu l'Adonai mishpechot amim havu l'Adonai kavod v'hoz havu l'Adonai kevod shemo Seu mincha uvahol chatzrotav ay shachavu l'Adonai v'hadrat kodesh chilu mipanav kol haaretz himru v'goyim Adonai malach aftikon tevel bahal limot yarinamim b'mesharim yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz yiram hayam hum lo yalo ושדה וכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל עצי יער לפני אדוני כי בא לשפוט הארץ ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים באמונתו רנה Page 17 or 51. Adonai Malach Tagil Haaretz V'choim Arbim. Shama Batismach Tzion V'tagelna b'non Yehuda Leman mishpatecha Adonai Ki ata Adonai Elyon Al kol haaretz Me'ona leital kol Elohim Ohavei Adonai Sinura Shomer nafshot chasidam Yarashayim yasilem Or zaru ala tzadik Holy shrelev simcha Simchu tzadikim Adonai Ve'odu lezecher kodsho Shir l'Adonai shir chadash Hoshi Elohim yimino zog לפני אדוני קיבל לשפוט הארץ ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים במישרים אדוני מלך יגזו עמים יושב קרובים תנות הארץ Page 19 or 53 Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachvu l'kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Page 20 or 54. Please rise. Mizmor leDavid havu l'Adonai b'nei Helim havu l'Adonai kavod v'hoz Ay, 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 avul Adonai gevot shemo yishtachavu l'Adonai hadrat kodesh kol Adonai alamayim el hakavod irim Adonai alayim rabim kol Adonai Koach, ay, 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 Kol Adonai, Kozev Lav, Kol Adonai, Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai, Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai, Cholel Ayalon, Vayechetzo, V'yeharot, Ovechalo, Kulo Omer Kavod, ay, 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 Adonai, Lahamahabun Yashava, Yeshev Adonai, Melech Leolam, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yiten, Adonai Yevarech Damo Vashalom, ay, 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 You may be seated. Hanna bekoach bekoach Gedulad yemincha yemincha Tatir serura kaberinat amecha Sagbeinu tarenu nora Hanna bekoach gedula yemincha Tatir serura Kabelrina Drina Damecha Sagbeinu Darenu Nora Hay 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 yada Hay 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 yada Hay 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 yada Hay 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 Page 2156 Lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela hay 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 lecha dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela hay 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 shamor bezachor bedibur echad Hishmi anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shem ultiferet Ve'letila Lecha dodi likrat kala Yadada 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Ay 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 Lecha dodi likrat kala Yadada 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 Pnei Shabbat nekabela Ay 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 Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maseh b'machshavat chila lecha dodi likrat kala yadada 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela hay ay ay lecha dodi likrat kala yadada 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela hay ay ay mikdash melech Ir melucha kumitei mitoch hafecha Rav lach shevet ve'emek hambacha Ve'hu yachamol alayich emla Lecha dodi likrat kala yadada 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela hay ay ay Lecha dodi likrat kala yadada 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela hay ay ay hitna hari me'afar kumi liv shim bigdei tifartecha mi hal yad ben ishai ben alachmi kor v'hel o nafshi ge'ala lecha dodi likrat kala yadada 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela hay ay ay lecha dodi likrat kala yadada 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela hey dorere dorere giva ore kumi ore 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 shida beri givod Adonai alayich nigla lecha dodi Alegrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Ay 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 lo tevo shive ולא תקלמי, מה תשכחיהו, מה תמי, בכי יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנית העיר אל תילה, הולך דודי לך דודי לי, גרד קלה לי, גרד קלה פני שבת נקבלה, והיו למשסה שוסייך ורחק וגול מבולייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך ימסוס חתן על כלה, הולך דודי לך דודי לי, גרד קלה לי, גרד קלה פני שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תברוצי ואת אדוני תעריצי, אל יעניש בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לך דודי לגרד קלה לגרד קלה פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשורה, תוך אמוני המסגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה לך דודי, היי 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 לי, גרד קלה, היי 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 לי, נשמה נקבלה, היי 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 ניי ניי היי 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 ניי 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 היי 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 ניי 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 היי 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 ניי ניי היי 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 לך דודי לך דודי לי, גרד קלה לי, גרד קלה פני שבת נקבלה. Page 23 of 59. מזמור שיר ליום השבת. צדיקת אמר יברח, כארז בלבנון יזגש עולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, עוד ינובון ושיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד, כי אשר אדוני צורי ולא הבלתם, אדוני מלך גאות לבש. עדותיך נאמנו מאוד לביתך בקודש, אדוני לאורך ימים. This week we observe the Yartzeichen of Frank Sepler, grandfather of Mitch Sepler, Jane G. Cecil, mother of Alex Cecil, Phyllis Handelman, mother of Stephen Handelman, Julius Fink, a founding member of the PJC, Leonardo Folberg, father of Anna Turkianich, Lena Goldberg, grandmother of Eleanor Dreyfus, Emma Berger, a founding member of the PJC, Craig Braginski, brother of Claudia Lee, Sam Merkin, father of Merrill Druckerman, Hortense Rauch, a founding member of the PJC, Donald Kushnick, father of Daniel Kushnick, Shirley Tracton, mother of Gary Tracton, and also Gala Wolf and Harry Mandel, who are memorialized on our board. May their memories and the memories of all those whom we recall be blessings. Claudia, is your brother's name Braginski or Braginski? Braginski. Craig Braginski. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 62. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmeid kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. O say shalom bimromav, huya say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Good Shabbos, everyone. It is so nice to see all of you, as always. So I want to share really a quick vort, pretty quick vort. So there were two midrashim that I learned fairly late. We're not in the actual Torah. Probably I was a teenager by the time I learned these two midrashim are not actually in the Torah in black and white. The first is Avraham smashing his father's idols, which probably you've all encountered at one time or another on your many winding journeys through Jewish text. And the second is the midrash of Moshe as a baby putting coals into his mouth. He's foretold that there's going to be a Hebrew's going to rise up against Pharaoh, and Pharaoh puts the baby Moshe in front of these pile of jewels and a pile of coals to see if he's a bright kid or not, and if he reaches for the jewels to put them in his mouth, he's going to throw Moshe in the river, and if he reaches for the coals and puts the hot coals in his mouth, he thinks, oh, this kid's not so bright, not such a threat, and so Moshe, of course, a very bright kid, is reaching for the jewels, and an angel guides his hand towards the coals, and he puts the coals in his mouth, which until I was probably 16 or 17, I thought was in the Tanakh. It's not. It's a midrash, but it's a story that I so thoroughly associated with Moshe growing up. I think both of these midrashim are things that my father shared with me once. And the story about Moshe and the coals explains why Moshe tells God when God sends Moshe on his mission, Lo ish dvarim anochi, I'm not a person of many words. And the tradition understands that to mean that Moshe has a speech impediment. And he's nervous about speaking in public, and he's not a particularly articulate person, or anyways, he's not a person who's comfortable speaking in public. And that's what that midrash explains. And so this time through, and this is not the first and it won't be the last time, that as the last book of the Torah rolls around, I find myself incredibly moved that it's called Devarim, which means words, and that it begins with Eila ha-Devarim asher diber Moshe. These are the words that Moshe speaks. And we know, as we come to Shul over the next several weeks, that he's going to go on and on and on and on and on. He's this person of just many and flowing words, and it's a really moving thing that the story of our hero, Moshe, is not really a story about someone who's born mighty, but someone who grows, and someone who starts off as not an ish dvarim, a person who is not comfortable speaking, and in the last book is It's just all him talking, and he just can't stop. And I find myself very moved by this. And there's a beautiful midrash, another midrash that I was thinking about as I was thinking about these stories this week, which appears in Shir HaShirim Rabbah, the midrash dealing with the Song of Songs. And there's this beautiful section there where they imagine what Revelation is like. And pretty famously, they say, when all the people are standing at Sinai, there's an angel that goes around to each and every Israelite and kisses them on the mouth. And that's basically the content of the revelation, basically placing the revelation in their mouths, which then they speak. It's a very, very beautiful image. And in Moshe's case, I think what we're supposed to understand, because all the midrashim presuppose all of the other midrashim, is that this kiss is curative. It's curative for him. And Sfas Emes, a later Hasidic teacher in the late 19th century, says, Moshe is not an ish Tvarim, a person of speech, before he receives the Torah, but after he receives the Torah, he is. And his kiss fixes that burn that he sustained as a child. And I imagine this, I really do always imagine this like if you have a really sore throat and you eat ice cream. And that's what Torah is like. It's like, imagine that feeling. It's like everything hurts, and suddenly everything is sweet and cool and refreshed. And that's kind of what the Midrash imagines Revelation is like. And once he's cured, Moshe finds that he's not just not a person of many words, that he's a person of capacious, flowing words. And that they're all so sweet and so wonderful. And Rav Kook, many thousands of years later, the first chief rabbi of Israel, said famously and amusingly about himself, "I don't speak because I have the power to speak. I speak because I don't have the power to remain silent." Which I think a lot of Jews, and certainly a lot of rabbis, can relate to. I have plenty of friends and colleagues who have done silent retreats and things like this, and there is certainly nothing wrong with those, and I think they're interesting, and I've heard that they're interesting. But it's not a coincidence, I don't think, that most of these kinds of silent retreats don't happen in specifically Jewish settings. We tend to be a fairly talkative people. And at its best, what undergirds this Jewish loquaciousness, I think, is this idea that speech is a profound gift and perhaps a divine act. And I just want to close by sharing one more Hasidic teaching from Dov Ber, the Maggid of Mezrich, one of the most important and influential students of the Baal Shem Tov. And he said, "Kishehu medaber, al yachshov shehu medaber." When you speak, don't think that it is you who is speaking. Ela hachayut shebo hu mehabore. Rather, it is this kind of divine life force that is flowing through you and leaving your mouth. And he goes on to say that that means that when you're standing talking with one of your friends, what you're supposed to understand is not that it's a person speaking to you, but actually it's God speaking to you through your friend. And in fact, that's how God speaks in general, because everyone was kissed, and everyone has this beautiful piece of revelation that's preserved like under their tongue. And when they talk, whether they talk a lot or when they talk a little, that's actually God's voice saying, here I am, and pay attention. And I think this is a really beautiful ideal, and kind of this visionary idea that we can see one another this way, and that we don't always, but that we should try. And that when we speak, whatever we're saying, on some level God is saying, if we listen. We'll continue with Mariv on page 28. Mike, do you want to lead the mark? No? You know? Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborah. Baruch Adonai Hamborah Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai. Umavi Yom Umevi Laila. Umavi Dil Ben Yom Uve Laila. Adonai Sebaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimlok Alein Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Amariv Aravim Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ava Torah Mitzvot Chukim U'Tzvatim Otanu Le'Madatam Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu B'Shokeinu Ukumeinu Nasiach B'Chukecha V'Lismak B'Divrei Choratecha U'B'Mitzvotecha Le'olam Va'ed Ki Heim Chayenu V'Yorek Yameinu V'Yorek Yameinu Vahem Nechter Yomam B'Layla Yomam B'Layla V'Haptaga El Tamid Memeinu Le'olam Le'omin Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Te'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'kol levavcha B'kol nafshecha B'kol meyodecha V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher anoki mitzvocha Hayom al livanecha V'dibarta livanecha V'dibarta bam V'shiftecha v'techa V'loftecha v'derek V'shavtecha uvkumecha V'shlotam al yadecha V'hayu l'todafot b'einecha U'katam al mezuzot b'techa V'bri shalecha. Adonai Elohim Emet. 32 or page 70. Malchuto b'ratzon kiblo Elohem Moshe uvnei Yisrael lecha anu shira b'simcha rabba v'imru kulam mi chamoka be'elim Adonai mi chamoka neder b'kodesh norati la'osefel Malchukaka ra'u v'necha b'okeyam yam lifnei Moshe se'eli anu v'bamru Adonai yimlok le'olam v'ne'emar ki pada Adonai et Yaakov u'ga'alo miyach hazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Skivenu Adonai Elohim. Ushmor Saitenu Uvereinu L'Chayim L'Shalom. Ve'ata b'yad olam uvrosh aleinu sukkot shalomecha. Baruch ata Adonai haparei sukkot shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. Please rise, page 3474. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasod et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam berit olam ayaya beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai hashamayim v'yeh ha'aretz u'v'yom hashvi Shabbat v'yinafar Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah Yamad divrei chirutein b'ilnik malkut v'chayei B'chai yekon u'vyomekon u'v'chai edekol Beit Yisrael b'gala u'v'zman korim v'imru amen Yehei shmei Rabbak mibarak le'olam u'meyamaya yibarak Yiparak, v'yishtabah, v'yipar, v'yitramah, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yithaleh, v'yithalal, shemeda kudusha, beriku, le'olam, min kol birkata, v'shirata, tushbekata, v'nechemata, dami rabbi ama, v'imru, amen.
47.
Vayikulu hashamayim b'haaretz b'kol sivam v'kol Elohim b'yom hashvi'i malakto asher asa v'yishpot b'yom hashvi'i kol malakto asher asa v'yivarak Elohim et yom hashvi'i v'yikadesh oto ki bo Shabbat mikol malakto Asher bara Elohi laso. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora Elyon Konei Shemayim va'aretz Magen Avot Bidvaro Mechayei Meiti B'mamoro Ha'el HaKadosh She'en Kamohu Ha'meniach Le'omo B'yom Shabbat Kodsho Ki Bam Ratzah Le'aniach Lahem Ki Bam Ratzah Le'aniach Lahem L'fanav Mavo V'yoranav V'chor V'yorei Lishmo B'kol Yom Tami Me'yon HaBrakot El HaHodot Adon HaShalom Mikadesh HaShabbat U'merek Shvi'i Umaniach V'dekadusha Yamar Zerker L'masei B'reishi Eloheinu V'Elohei Avotenu Ratzei V'munachenu Kadshenu B'mitzvotecha V'tein Chalkeinu B'toratecha Sabeinu Mitubecha Samkeinu B'shuatecha Zehar Libeinu Liavdeka B'yemet V'hachileinu Adonai Eloheinu B'yavahu Ratzon Shabbat Kadecha V'yachuva Yisrael Mikadshei Shimecha Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah V'yamadi v'rakirotei V'yalmik malkotei B'chayechon uv'yimechon Uv'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael B'galat uzman karivim ru Amen Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach Ve'olo me'yamaya Yiparak Yiparak v'yishtabah Yiparak v'raman v'nasei V'yed hadar v'yed halel v'yed halal shemei dekudesha b'richu Le'ela min kol birkata v'shirata Tushbakata v'nechamata damira b'yama v'imru Amen Tikabel slichachon uv'chachon v'kol Yisrael kadam uv'chon di b'shamayim v'imru Amen Yehei shlama rabba min shamayim v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen Oseh shalom b'imrumav hu yaseh shalom Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Anyone for Kiddush?
Sure. Yeah, great.
big old.
That's, oh, here we wow. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadsho b'avav ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit
Kihu yom tehillah mikra'e kodesh
zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta
Yotanu kidasha
mikol ha'amim v'shabbat koshecha v'yahav ratzon nikaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh haShabbat. Amen.
On Lay News, page 51.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latei kedula liyotzeh b'reishit shelo asanu k'guyei haratzon v'lo samanu k'mishmarkat adama shelo sam kelkeinu kahem v'gora leinu k'kol hamona v'anachnu korim u'mishnakavim u'modrim Lifnei melech malkei hamlakim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim yosef haaretz. Kakatu batorataka Adonai yimlok leolam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 52. Yitgadal v'yitgadal shemei rabbah. Yomah divrachutei v'yomlik malchutei v'chayikon u'v'yemekon u'v'chayei dekol beit Yisrael v'galat u'zmat karib b'mru. Amen. Hey shmei rabbah mevarach ale'olam umay umaya. Yiparak v'yishtabah v'yishpahar v'yipramah v'yinaseh v'yihadar v'yihalel v'yihalal shmei dekudashah b'richu ve'olah min kol bergata v'shirata tushbekata v'nechamata damira v'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mumav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen. Shekoach, Mark, for Mari. Barry is the ranking member of the board. Do you want to make the announcements? I'll do it. Kiddush is sponsored this week by Neko and Anna Turkianich. They are sponsoring it in honor of the memory of Neko's father, Yisrael Turkianich, and Anna's mother, Leonardo Fulberg. Please contact Andrea if you'd like to volunteer to sponsor a Kiddush or for more information about that. We continue to help Harpston Homes for Refugees with the resettlement of 2 refugee families in New Rochelle. Please contact Michael Dvorkin or Rhonda Singer if you want to volunteer about that. Volunteer with that. Also, we're looking into maybe doing it again, so just stay tuned for more information about that, maybe in partnership with some other synagogues around here. So that's hopefully coming soon. Adult education continues. We have our Lunch and Learn on Wednesdays on Zoom. We're studying Masechet Shabbat, the second parak of the chapter about candle lighting in the Babylonian Talmud. So please join us, even if you haven't in the past, or if you'd like to learn with me. I have lots of chevrutas going all the time, so please reach out. I would love to learn something. Tisha B'Av actually falls tomorrow, but because of Shabbat, it's observed on Sunday. The fast begins at tomorrow night, and we'll have an Eicha reading here at 9 p.m. So it'll be a short Tisha B'Av service, about an hour, so please consider coming for that. On to happier things, in honor of Tu B'Av, which is sort of a minor holiday, which is like a Jewish Valentine's Day. It's on August 11th, rain or shine. We're going to be showing When Harry Met Sally here at the PJC. Last time we showed Apollo 13 out there a few weeks ago, and it was wonderful. We had about 25 people, and it was really nice. It was like a real movie and big screen, and so come out for that. Our blood drive is here on August 14th from 9:30 to 1:30. No appointment necessary, but if you want to make one, please contact Michael Dvorkin. And if you're interested in coming on our Israel trip, which is going to be June 2023, please come. It's going to be amazing. And contact Adam Gerber, who's generously offered to help put that together for us. So, any other announcements? Good Shabbos. Yigdal is on page. It's on page 53. Bevakasha. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach limtza ve'hein edel mitziyuto echad ve'hein yachid ke'yichudo ne'lam ve'gam ein sof le'achduto hein lo demut haguf ve'hein no guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon lechol davar asher nivra rishon ve'hein reishit le'reishito hino adon olam bechol notzar yoreh gedulato malchuto shafa nevuato netano el anshe segulato betifarto Lokam beYisrael k'Moshe Navi umabid et munato Torah temet natan le'amoel Hal yad nevionem an beito Lo ya chalifa el v'lo yamir dato Le'olamim le'zulato Sofe v'yodea setarenu Mabid l'sof davar be'kadmato Gomer le'ish chesed gemifalo Noten le'rasha ragarishato Yishlach le'kez yamim meshichenu Litnod mecha keget Yeshuato Mitim yechayel be'rov chasto Baruch adei Hashem tilato Mitim yechayel be'rov chasto Baruch adei Hashem tehilato. Good Shabbos. What's that?
Have a good night.
You too. Good Shabbos. So nice to see you. How's it going?
Good. You?
Good. Nice to see you. It's been a little while.
Yes, I have a lot of free Fridays.
How are you guys doing?
All right.